In this video, I want to look at how a high school or a middle school teacher adds a lesson to their planner. To begin with, log into your It's Learn course, and then in the tree, click on the planner link. Because this is probably your first lesson, you see nothing on the planner to begin with. To begin, click where it says Add Plan. This will add a new row to your planner. Now notice there are two views to the planner. I am currently in the table view, but if I click on List, it changes the layout. It's more like a form. Completely up to you as to which layout you use. I'm a fan of table, so I'm going to click back on table. Now to begin, all I need to do is click where it says No Title in the lesson column and type the title of my lesson. So I'm just going to say Creating It's Learning Tests. And I'll click anywhere outside that box and I'll see my title. If I made a mistake, all I have to do is click on the pencil and edit that. Now I move on to the date column. If I click there, a pop-up is going to come up. I highly recommend that you always have it on date and then click on the calendar and choose the date of your lesson. This is my lesson today, so I'm just going to click on April 3rd. Notice it'll put the same date for the start and the stop date. You always need to have a date for both of those items. That tells It's Learning when to put the lesson on the dashboard and when to take it off the dashboard. I'm going to click OK. For the description, I'm just going to click on the pencil and then I'm going to type in my lesson. Notice you have all of the choices to color code, to bold, to bullet. I like to bullet just my agenda, so I'm just going to say helpful hints. And I'm going to look at taking an online test, creating an online test, and then assessing. And then I'll hit save. Under homework, you will just click the pencil and once again type in what the homework assignment is. So I'm going to say create a test. If you don't have homework, be sure to just type none there. Our parents have asked that there always be a specific assignment or none so they know what their child needs to do. Under resources and activities, notice these are It's Learning resources and activities. These are things you've created in your course, they're in your tree, and you want to link them to this particular lesson. So I have some step-by-step directions on how to create a test. So I'm going to click here on Add Resource, and I've already added them to the course, so I'm going to click From Course. Notice it comes up with a list of everything that I have loaded in my tree. If I have a short list, it's very easy for me to go and check the particular item that I need for that resource. As your year goes, this list will become very large, and in that situation I recommend that you click on the folder column heading and then notice it's going to group the items together by what folder they're in. That's going to make it much easier for you to find the specific item that you're trying to link. So once you find the item, check the box in front of it, click Add Resource, and notice those directions have now been attached to this lesson. Under Activities, I actually have a practice test that I want everyone to take, so I'm going to click Add Activity. Once again, From Course, all of the activities that I have in my course will show up. Once again, I can click Folder as the year goes to make that easier. I'm just going to click my test and click Add Activity. So that's now been added to my lesson. Upcoming items, this column is a place for you to make announcements. So you can say, hey, we're having a quiz tomorrow over this topic, or our test on this unit is next Tuesday, or make sure you remember to bring something into class. So that's kind of an announcement column for you. You don't have to put something in there every day, but it is there for you to use. Teacher notes, this is set up that only you as a teacher see it. Students and parents do not see this column. So this is where you can type up notes to yourself saying, hey, I want to change this about the lesson next year, or I'm going to differentiate by doing this. Your administrators can also see this column, so that is a great way for you to give notes to them as well. And then learning objectives, this is where you tag your standards for your lessons. If I click Add Learning Objectives, it's going to come up with my particular standards that I loaded, And then I can go in and choose whatever standard the particular lesson is. When I choose insert and close, it'll add that standard to that particular column. Now if I go back to the course dashboard, notice there I see my lesson that I just created on the dashboard. Now one other thing I want to show you, I'm going to go back to the planner for a second. If you teach multiple courses and you're going to do a similar lesson in both courses, you can copy this lesson from course to course. To do that, I would just check the box in front of the lesson title, go up here to the action link, and I would say copy. It's going to ask me to select the course that I want to copy to, so I'm just going to say I'm going to put this in my sandbox. If you're doing it on a different date, notice you can clear the date. Or if it's the exact same date, just leave it on there. And if you're going to use the exact same resources and activities, you can copy those over as well. Once you click copy, it'll process and then let you know that it's been copied over to that other course. This is a great feature to use from year to year. So if you teach the same course in consecutive years, you can copy the lessons from one planner to the next planner as well. I want to address just a few more features about the planner that may be helpful for you. You just learned how to add your first lesson to your planner. To add your next lesson, once again, you would just click Add Plan and then go through and edit your next lesson. So I'm going to go ahead and add a lesson for tomorrow and then just type in my agenda for that lesson. Now at the high school, you are required to put in a lesson for each day of the week. In the middle school, it depends on your school. Some schools require a lesson for each day. Some allow for you to do one entry for the entire week. Now, I prefer one lesson per day. It makes it much easier for the students and the parents to know exactly what happened on that day and what resources and activities pertain to that particular day. I'm going to show you an example of a class where the teacher is putting in an entry for the entire week. So notice for the lesson, they said that there's studying World War I, Great Depression, and World War II. They started this lesson on March 20th, and it's going through that week, March 24th. And then what they did is just put each day of the week and a description for each of the 5 lessons for that week. Once again, that is acceptable at some middle schools. You'll need to talk to your middle school and find out if that is appropriate or not. One other thing I want to show you, if for some reason you put in a lesson and something happens and that lesson didn't take place, so let's say my creating its learning tests, I didn't get to that today, that really didn't happen. Notice I can rearrange lessons on the planner. I have a dot, dot, dot right there in front of the lesson. If I click on those 3 dots and drag, I can then bring that lesson down below tomorrow's lesson, and then I can just click over here, change the date. So now let's go say that's going to be Wednesday's lesson. So I'll change both the start and stop to Wednesday, click OK. Now when I go back to the dashboard, notice there's not a lesson for today since I just moved that. But if I choose Show This Week, now I'm going to see tomorrow's lesson and Wednesday's lesson. So you can reorder things on the planner by simply clicking and dragging.